In his entire story, we saw Maul with various lightsabers. In his first appearance in The Phantom Menace, he used double-bladed lightsaber, and that is iconic for this character. The saber staff contained two lightsabers in a single line. Each blade could work separately or together, depending on the situation. This saber was built by Maul himself. He used it to kill his first Jedi, and even to duel Qui-Gon Jinn with Obi-Wan Kenobi. He killed Qui-Gon with this saber, but afterwards Obi-Wan was able to split the saber in half, with one falling down the shaft. Maul was lucky, as the second saber stayed functional and was not damaged by Padawan, and he could easily overpower Obi-Wan. But while toying with him, he underestimated this Jedi. Kenobi was able to cut him in half, and with that, Maul and his saber fell down the shaft and he was proclaimed dead. Years later, everything changed when Maul's brother Asajj Ventress found him. After getting Maul back and healing him, both physically and mentally, Maul retrieved half of his original lightsaber. What was surprising is that Maul did not make another double-bladed lightsaber. He stayed with his single one. Interestingly enough, his brother Asajj had a double-bladed lightsaber like Maul used to have. So I have a small theory here. What if Maul thought of Asajj as a younger version of himself, but now he's the master like Sidious was his master? So the apprentice gets double-bladed lightsaber and master has a single blade. That may show us how Maul tried to imitate Sidious in a way and his way of guidance. He really tried to be like him. Later in the story, Maul retrieved the darksaber, ancient lightsaber made by Mandalorian Jedi. It showed us that he was really skilled at wielding dual lightsabers, two sabers at the same time, not joined like in the past but separately. He showed us really impressive feats with this combination, being able to fight equally with Darth Sidious for a short amount of time. This really showed us Maul's range in combat. He could use double-bladed, single-bladed and dual-wield lightsabers and still be a very impressive fighter, mastering Terraskasi, deadly martial art. But there was another change after death of Maul's brother Asajj. For a short amount of time, Maul used darksaber, but that was necessary because he was on the run. But then he returned to his roots. He stopped using the ancient weapon and instead he got sort of a new double-bladed lightsaber. You may ask, why is that? Why didn't Maul use the darksaber instead of this blade? From some sketches for Clone Wars Season 7, Duel of Ahsoka with Maul, we know that originally Maul was supposed to use darksaber in Season 7, and we can see that clearly in this art made by Dave Filoni, but that was changed to this double-bladed lightsaber. That could be because darksaber for Maul could be a painful reminder of what he had, his former power and alliances, and also time when his brother lived. He is different now, or there could be simpler explanation. Maul never made such connection with his blade, so he got a new one, as the lightsaber and its user creates some sort of bond, and this lightsaber was not created by Maul himself, so perhaps he wasn't that confident with it. The third reason could be to get his confidence back and return to his origins. In years prior, he was feared Sith assassin that used this special lightsaber that was really unique at the time. But how is this lightsaber back? As I mentioned in this video, only half of this double-bladed lightsaber was recovered. When we look closely at this lightsaber, half of it is original lightsaber that Maul used in Phantom Menace, but the second one is new original hilt. Did Maul build this? And why is it so different from his original hilt? Now we are going to explore really complicated history. This isn't just any lightsaber, it's not entirely newly built by Maul. This is already existing lightsaber used by another character that comes from Dathomir, Asajj Ventress. Let me explain. She was also a character with a rich lightsaber history. She got her first green saber as a Padawan. Then as Dooku's assassin, she used two curved red lightsabers, and after she survived her death and continued her story in the beginnings of the Empire, she used a new curved lightsaber with yellow color. However, there was one hidden lightsaber that you didn't know about. It's really questionable in canon, but during events of Dark Disciple book, it was covering the deleted episodes of the Clone Wars when we were supposed to find out what happened to Ventress. If you ask if that lightsaber isn't the same one we saw in the Bad Batch and Tales of the Underworld, it's not the same. Their disciple comes from deleted Clone Wars episodes, and in some released scenes from these stories, we saw Asajj using this exact lightsaber, and also in this concept art, you can definitely see it here. You may argue that this doesn't have to mean it's canon, but even on the Dark Disciple cover, we saw this lightsaber not being curved like her later lightsaber. So even if it's not entirely clear, the saber used by Asajj during End of the War looked the same as the saber that is used currently by Maul. What is interesting that this lightsaber had yellow color, it's really rare for this era, and Ventress got it from a black market when she needed new weapon. But how does it connect to Maul? Could this be reusing an old animation asset, or is there something more to this story? If we try to connect the dots, I think there is a way it makes sense. Asajj Ventress just had a different lightsaber after the Clone Wars because Maul took her first yellow saber. As she was buried on Dathomir, so was her saber, and then Maul could have found it there and used it. This could have been a hint or a sign for Maul to use this saber and return to his origins. However, he needed to make the kyber crystal bleed so it would turn red, and then he would be more connected with his saber. It's interesting thought that Maul would use this weapon, a weapon of Ventress. I mean, both of them are really similar in a way, but also with different paths. Also, we need to understand that behind the scenes, designs of lightsaber could be messy at times. During the Clone Wars Season 7, we didn't really know that Ventress survived, and that was revealed later on in the Bad Batch. Maybe the first intention behind this design was to show us kind of similar story that I just theorized about, but sometime later they unexpectedly brought Ventress back. Maybe creators just look at some lightsaber hilts and assets and there wasn't much added story here. From cancelled episodes they took this hilt and inspired it for Maul's new saber. Maybe the story is that Maul created the whole saber himself, but I prefer the version when Maul actually got it from Dathomir and it was Ventress' saber. It raises many questions, but I just like that detail so much. Later on in timeline, Maul will switch to another lightsaber, and this one got lost or destroyed during the show. Maul acquired a new one. This is also really interesting because it's not entirely his, he got it from Imperial Inquisitor, we saw him use it in Rebels and Solo, and that showed us that Maul is still being hunted by the Empire, but they won't kill him that easily, showing this lightsaber like a trophy. I think they will show us origin of this lightsaber and it could even belong to Marak, who is facing Maul in first teaser for this upcoming show. Which of Maul's lightsabers throughout his entire history do you like most? Let me know in the comments down below, along with theories about his second lightsaber from Clone Wars Season 7 and Maul Shadow Lord. This video takes a lot of my time, so to support me you can like, comment, subscribe or share. I'll see you next time.